His MVP. Golf swing, right field. Forget about it. Rangers strike first. Goes after the first one. Drills a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb into first. Drive. It's tied. Seager smashes the ball down line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field. Way back there. Shot again. Corey Seager does it again. It's Texas Rangers win the World Series. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live. Coming at you after a thrilling, epic 7-4 Texas Rangers victory over the New York Yankees in game 139 of the season. Man, it's too bad the Rangers had to wait till game 139 to start having some fun. I mean, look, there has been some great moments over the course of the year, don't get me wrong, but did we have to start waiting until September to really start having some fun around here? What a great finish. Definitely thought it was going to be an interesting ninth with Clay Holmes, who has not been great for the Yankees, has gotten a lot of opportunities, but definitely kind of the epitome, kind of the exact parallel of Jose Leclerc. Never going to have a clean inning, always going to be interesting. And sure enough, Clay Holmes gets into some trouble. Wyatt Langford walks it off with a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth inning. Gotta love it. Great night to be a Texas Rangers fan. And we're going to get into everything here in just a little bit. We're going to take you through all of the key moments in this one, go through the scoring, talk about our players of the game, go through the box score, do a little box score review, all in just a little bit. But of course, here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports, putting a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers, and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thank you for choosing Right on Rangers for all of your Texas Rangers content, including post-game analysis. If you have any comments, you have any questions, you have anything you want to throw out for me during the live show, please do so, and I promise I will get to it eventually. We got to start with Wyatt Langford, though. Got to start with Wyatt Langford. That at-bat had to be an incredibly frustrating one from Wyatt. Had to be incredibly frustrating. So if you weren't watching, you're just coming in fresh right now, Wyatt Langford was absolutely hosed in that bottom of the ninth inning at-bat. It should have been 4 straight balls, and the Rangers tied the game 4-4. So in some weird, twisted way, it actually worked out that the umpire was so terrible back there behind the dish. And that was a recurring theme tonight. And you guys don't hear me get on and complain about umpires incessantly on this show because, look, it's hard to get perfection. But I did think tonight was exceptionally bad. I think Bruce Bochy would agree with me. Boch was barking all night long. And if it was not for the bad calls behind the dish, Wyatt would have never got the opportunity to hit that grand slam walk-off. So in some ways it all worked out. But man, for Wyatt, I'm just going into the mindset, the psyche of a hitter. You know that there's been about 2 or 3 terrible calls called against you, and you still stay locked in and focused to the point where you're hitting a walk-off grand slam, not missing your pitch after what was, I can only assume, just a very frustrating first 4 or 5 pitches of that at bat. So Wyatt Langford, to stay poised in that moment, to stay locked in, and then get your pitch and smoke it into the left field bleachers, I mean, that is just, I think, a huge testament to his continued development as a player, his maturation. I think we are seeing the shades that all of us thought were going to be present early on in the season. It took Wyatt a little bit to figure it out, But this is what you want if you're a Rangers fan going into 2025. You want these moments. You want these moments where guys that need to be coming along, developing, guys that are expected to be big contributors are finishing the year strong and going into 2025 and into the offseason with a lot of confidence. I love what I'm seeing from Wyatt as this year winds down. I would have loved to have heard the radio call. Tristan, appreciate the comment and for you tuning in. I got the Bally call. I was not listening to the radio. I actually was on the go with my phone. I haven't quite figured out how to sync up radio and TV with the phone. I know how to do it on my TV, but I got the Bally call. It was a great call. I'm sure the radio guys did an outstanding job. I can't wait to hear it because after this show, I'm probably going to go watch that walk-off home run about 5 or 6 more times at minimum. So I'm sure they're going to sync up the radio call in some of those replays. Man, I can't say enough how needed this win was. You know, you had a bad game last night, not super competitive, was for a second there. And then tonight, it really was not looking great after Andrew Heaney came out of the game. It quickly became a 4-1 ball game heading into the 8th inning. And I think a lot of us Rangers fans, myself included, were not super hopeful that the game was going to go our way. I'm not going to sit up here and say I fully expected us to come back down from 4-1. You guys know I'm super transparent and honest on this show. I don't sit here and pretend like I knew everything that was going to happen in the game. And I'm not too proud to admit when I was wrong. I was wrong. I did not expect or think the Rangers were going to come back and win this one. This had typical loss kind of written all over it. Now, a stat that they showed in the Bally broadcast that I think is worth mentioning, the Rangers have 30 comeback wins. Now, I don't think a ton of those are in the 7th inning or later, although they're slowly adding more to that tally. But the Rangers have 30 come-from-behind wins this year. Now, come from behind could be, you were down in the 1st inning or the 2nd inning, and then you came from behind. But the 7th inning and on, the Rangers, at least for most of the season, did not have a lot of comeback victories. So for the Rangers to be in this spot where they are down 4-1, and the Yankees have a decent bullpen. Like I said, to begin the show, Clay Holmes is basically the Yankees version of Leclerc. He is going to give up a lot of base runners. There's going to be a ton of traffic when Clay Holmes is on the bump. Almost every outing, I should say, that Clay Holmes has pitched against the Rangers, it's been interesting. He has gotten out of jams a couple of times against us. But tonight, especially when the bases get loaded, I really felt confident that we were at least going to be able to get a productive out. It was really imperative that Wyatt did not strike out there. And to go with John's comment, John, appreciate you watching, by the way. The umpire darn near took the bat out of Wyatt's hands. I thought to myself, especially, I think it was the 3rd missed call of that at bat. And I just said to myself, I just don't know if this is going to go our way. And again, the poise, the just mental fortitude that Langford has in that moment to shake off probably 3 bad calls in the same at bat and then get your pitch and annihilate it into the left field seats. I can't say enough how impressed I am at Wyatt. There's a lot of Rangers that are showing some bad body language right now. Jonah Heim is one of them. And I don't want to dwell a ton on the negative tonight in such an epic walk-off win, but there are some guys. Foscue is another one. The body language doesn't look great. Body language isn't everything. You can't read into it 1,000%, but there is some bad body language on this team right now. A lot of guys frustrated, striking out a lot, and you can just see it all over their faces and the way they're carrying themselves. They're in a bad way. And so for Wyatt, he could have easily pouted that whole at bat, really. Just getting jobbed left and right on strike calls that were not particularly close. And instead, he hangs in there, gets a pitch that he absolutely did not miss. And just for fun, let's go ahead and check out some of the advanced stats there. 109.7 miles an hour off the bat. We're talking about a 110-mile-an-hour missile that definitely was a no-doubter. And that pitch was center cut. That was a hanging slider, 86 miles an hour, middle in, just perfect down the middle of the plate. For me, I know that you have to challenge Langford there because coming up next in the lineup after Langford, you had Josh Jung, who's also been swinging a really nice bat. I wondered if maybe Corey Seager was going to make an appearance late. Glad that they did not have to go to him. Not because I don't think he would have done well. I'm just glad to see other players on this team having their big moments and contributing. So I would have hoped that Corey Seager would have come up at some point late in the game. Today was kind of a load management day, according to Bruce Bochy. I don't love it when you're in the middle of a homestand. I don't love it. I think on the road, if you want to rest Corey and give him some days off, I think that's one thing. I've gone off on this before. I'm not going to go off on a tangent tonight on this, y'all, but I just can't stand the rest and load management days for star players when you're playing at home. And it's been an up and down season. I know that Boch alluded to Corey not being 100%. Who is at this point in the season? Who's 100% right now? It's not a lot of guys. They played 140 games. I would much rather some of these star players get sat on the road, not in front of the home fans. I know Siegs has some kind of injury going on or whatever, needed a day. I get it. It is what it is. And with the Rangers being out of the playoffs, I know that they want to be careful. It just is frustrating to have star players sit at home when you got fans coming out that obviously know that the season is basically over. Right? These games are important to the diehards and for all of us looking forward to 2025, wanting the team to finish strong. But we want to see this team deliver some fun moments for the fans that have stuck through the ups and downs of this season. And there's been more downs than ups. And I just hope that the Rangers have that spirit and attitude about them to finish out the year. Let's do it for the fans. And tonight, the walk-off. Look, and you could see the emotion in Josh Jung when he hit the walk-off on Sunday. These guys want to win and still care about winning. The emotion is real, and that's good for me to see. It'd be easy to mail in the last month of the season, but you see the emotion on Josh Jung's face rounding the bases on Sunday. You see Wyatt Langford. You see the guys afterwards celebrating. That gave me a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope that this season is going to end on a more positive note than maybe a lot of us expected it will. Not saying playoffs, not saying the Rangers are going to be playing in October, just saying I think some of us maybe expected this season to end with a bit of a whimper. And I want to think, and you know, the eternal optimist in me wants to believe that the Rangers are going to finish this season strong. I truly do believe that, and I hope that the Rangers are able to get close or slightly above 500 to end the year. I think that's a great goal, an outstanding goal. Just what a great win tonight. I'm going to get to a bunch of comments here. I have a couple other big leads. We had to start with Wyatt Langford. Man, I hope that guy can continue to get even better in the offseason and be a presence for us in the middle of the order next year. I'd love to see Wyatt be a 5-hole, a 4-hole hitter, something like that. Look, if he keeps doing this, he might need to go ahead and back up and protect Corey Seager in the 3 spot. But look, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But Wyatt Langford, this is the guy that the Rangers envisioned at the beginning of the year when we didn't go out and get any outfield help in free agency. There were a few outfielders I think the Rangers could have gone after. Tommy Pham, Jock Peterson. You had J.D. Martinez, although he's a little bit more of a DH at this point in his career. There were outfielders out there for the taking. And the Rangers decided, no, we like Evan Carter. We like Wyatt Langford. Those guys are going to contribute. And the gamble didn't quite pay off this year. Evan Carter injury, Wyatt Langford, very slow start. But I think what you're seeing right now is what Chris Jung and the front office envisioned moving forward. They envisioned Wyatt hitting these walk-off towering home runs at 110 miles an hour. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. It really is. And it gives me a lot of hope for 25. Wyatt was having an up and down night to that moment. He was 0 for 4. He had 2 strikeouts. Was not his best night up at the plate, but it definitely was his best night after that last at bat, wasn't it? Great moment for Wyatt. He's delivered in a few big spots over the last 3-4 weeks. You love to see it. Now, let me get into my second big lead. Appropriate, of course, John brings this up, always one step ahead of me. Heaney pitched a great game. Andrew Heaney is going to get paid this offseason. It's sad for me as a Rangers fan because I love Heendog. I love what he's brought to this organization. Heendog was never going to be a number 1 or number 2 ace for us, and a lot of people would get frustrated with Andrew Heaney and how he was not able to go deeper into games consistently. I mean, Andrew Heaney, I think quietly has become probably behind Cody Bradford and maybe Nate Eovaldi, our third best pitcher. I'd probably go Eovaldi just because he's pitched more games this year. I'd go Cody Bradford. And then after that, I got to go Andrew Heaney, third best pitcher. At times, Andrew Heaney has been our best pitcher. And it is insane how many games the Rangers have scored like 3 or less runs. Somebody talked about it on Twitter. I think it was Evan Grant, Dallas Morning News. I'm not going to get the number correct, but he discussed just how many starts the Rangers have given Andrew Heaney less than 3 runs of run support. It is a majority of his starts, and it's like a strong majority. It's not, kind of like a 50-50, half the games, half no. It's like most of the games, they give him less than 3 runs of run support. And I've talked about, just going back to the mental fortitude theme that we were talking about with Wyatt, for Andrew Heaney to go out there game after game, knowing that the Rangers are not an offensive juggernaut this year, knowing that your teammates are probably not going to put up a lot of runs for you, and to stay that locked in, it would be easy to lose focus out there, to pout, to blame. All Andrew Heaney does out there is just freaking deal every single start. That's not to say he hasn't had his bad ones. He has. Every pitcher does over the course of a 162-game season. But Andrew Heaney, to be this locked in, this late in the year, with the putrid, terrible run support he's received, in combination with the fact that the Rangers are not going to be playing October baseball, for him to continue to deliver quality start, quality outing after quality outing, I think it is a huge testament to his character, his mental toughness, and the type of athlete and competitor that he is. And the dude's going to get paid this offseason. It's so unfortunate that the Rangers are kind of in the mode that they are right now with the money. Maybe a TV deal gets worked out and the Rangers ownership decides to do or field some kind of competitive offer for Andrew Heaney. Maybe, but I can't see that happening. I don't think the Rangers are going to be competitive with Andrew Heaney unless he really wants to take some kind of hometown discount, which I don't expect him to, nor do I blame him for not doing. Andrew Heaney right now has about 1 big contract left in his major league career. Andrew Heaney, you look at the age, right now he is, I believe, 33. I was going to say 34, just looked it up. Andrew Heaney is 33 years old. He's got 1, maybe 2 contracts left in him. And if his agent plays it well, he should be getting something in the ballpark of 3 years, $45 million, $15 million a year. I think he at minimum is going to get $10 million a year. Maybe they land somewhere around 3 years, $36 million. I think that is a great deal for Andrew Heaney. If we can get him 3 years, 36, I think the front office is stupid not to bring him back on that. But if it gets much further than that 3-year 36, you're getting into the 15 or maybe even above $15 million a year. I don't know if you can dedicate that much capital to Andrew Heaney. And it's nothing personal. Some team is going to want to pay him $15 million a year. I would really find it hard to believe there's not going to be a team out there in free agency that's going to pay him that just to get a solid starting pitcher. I hope that the Rangers can figure out a way. I'm not hopeful that it's going to get done. If I was betting on it, I would say no, he doesn't return, but I sure would love him to, because Andrew Heaney, I was a little bit of a doubter last year at times. This year, I became a believer. Andrew Heaney, I think, is an extremely legit starting pitcher in this league. I don't think he's a number one. I don't even think he's a number two. I think he is a solid number three starter in a rotation. You would feel comfortable starting him in the playoffs as the number three or number four guy. No doubt you would feel comfortable doing that. And there will be another team that feels very cozy with Andrew Heaney starting game 3 of a playoff series. So Andrew Heaney could be some of his last starts here. Don't know how the rotation is going to shake itself out, if he's going to get some more Globe Life Field starts or not. The dude loves pitching at Globe Life. The splits heavily favor positive results when he pitches at home. He loves pitching at Globe Life. So I would love to see him stick around next year. I'm not holding my breath, but if CY is able to pull it off, that sure would be sweet. Yeah, John, the offense was definitely something. They left something to be desired tonight. 2 hits. The Josh Jung bomb was one of them in the 4th inning. The offense, I think, guys, this is what we're going to be saying about them really for the rest of the year. I really think that the offense, it is what it is for this year. I don't anticipate some explosion to happen over the last 3 weeks of the season. I think we might get some nice moments, some amazing moments like tonight, but I'm not super hopeful that this offense is suddenly going to turn it on. They haven't done it all season long. So I hope that we can get some big hits like we did tonight. I've told y'all over and over, this is a team that counts on, relies on the big hit. They got it tonight, and they win a ball game. But they're not a team that goes station to station very well, strings together lots of big hits, clutch hits with runners in scoring position. But they have done a nice job of it of late. So, look, celebrate the win tonight. You have a chance to win the series tomorrow with your best pitcher on the hill, Nate Eovaldi, also pitching against his former team. That's another dynamic I love with Andrew Heaney. Of course, Andrew Heaney pitched for the Yankees, a short stint. But nevertheless, you go out and you dominate your former team. It's a great feeling. I hope Evo does the same thing. Take a page out of Heen Dog's book. Let's go dominate out there tomorrow and win a series. Win our 3rd series in a row. And look, you can't count on, oh, we got an easy schedule down the stretch. We're clearly going to win some games. I don't take any games for granted with this Rangers ball club. I don't take any games for granted. We're playing the White Sox. I'm not feeling that comfortable. So by no means am I sitting here saying, yeah, we make it past the Yankees and they're going to be cruising the rest of the year. Dubs left and right. I'm not saying that. I do think, though, you get past the Yankees and the schedule does lighten up quite a bit. The Rangers, I really do believe, can finish 500 or higher. I think the playoffs are basically done out the window. We're not even going to talk about it unless the Rangers are less than 5 games. And even at that, it's still going to be tough to overcome. Right now, the Rangers have, I believe, 23 games left in the year, and they have close to a double-digit deficit right now. It's just not going to happen. But you know what? Have some fun on your way out. Play spoiler. Make some of those teams sweat just a little bit, whether they're sweating out, making the playoffs, or holding on to a lead in the division or wild card. Just make some teams sweat down the stretch and give the fans some fun moments and finish on a really strong positive note heading into 2025. Those are the things that I want to see. Eric, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. The win was awesome. No doubt. I love it. Love these walk-offs that we've been getting. I wish the Rangers would not have waited until August and September to start having fun with these walk-offs. That being said, the Rangers have won a lot of extra inning games this year. They have a knack for winning these ball games late. But by and large, I wish they would have got to doing this a little bit sooner this season. But can't go back in time. Let's just have a great rest of 2024. We got Jacob deGrom returning next week, making his Rangers season debut. There was some talk deGrom was going to be starting this Saturday, but he is going to be pitching for Frisco this weekend. But I would imagine he will be in a Rangers uniform next week, maybe making a start on Thursday or Friday. Man, I would love to see that. That sure would be nice. 2 walk-offs in the past 3 days. Thank you. That's all I got to say. Grateful. Thank you. These are the kinds of moments that we've been begging for all season long as Rangers fans. Better late than never. That's what I say. Now, we got through Andrew Heaney. We've talked Wyatt Langford. Any comments, any questions you want to throw my way, please drop it in the chat. Let me go to TikTok real quick. I've been neglecting you guys. EJ, what's up, man? Yeah, they're having a lot of fun right now. You can see on the faces, a lot of fun right now for that clubhouse and for that team. I love it. Absolutely. Thank you so much for everybody that's tuning in, whether you're on TikTok. Pete says on TikTok they need Josh Hamilton back. I would love Josh Hamilton reincarnate to show up and help out this team offensively. They surely could use Josh Hamilton in his prime right now. Absolutely. Somebody says, Sean says, try watching a Mariners game these days. It's miserable, more than normal. Yeah, the Mariners, after all their activity at the trade deadline, kind of reminds me of the Angels last year. The Mariners really went all in at the deadline, and they have really not kicked it into gear since going out, acquiring a Rosarina. So, look, if you're a Mariners fan, I feel for you. I can't say as a Rangers fan I hate the Mariners or have any kind of ill will towards them. I just don't. But, look, they are a division rival, and I will say, to see them go after it at the deadline and come up short, I got to say, it doesn't make me sad. Let me just put it that way. Natalie, interesting stat here. 2023 Rangers only had 4 walk-offs. That's crazy. Wyatt Langford has 3. Clearly, the team as a whole has more than this. I think Jonah Heim has 1 or 2 walk-offs. So, wow, you wouldn't think the World Series championship team would have only had 4 walk-offs the entire year. But look, that's how baseball goes sometimes. As the great Ron Washington once said, that's how baseball go. You have 4 walk-offs in your World Series championship winning year. You win it all. And then in the year where you're going to miss the playoffs, you have more walk-off wins. Is what it is. Let's go ahead and let's keep things rolling here. So we talked Heaney. Look, Leclerc coming in, 3rd blown save of the season. It's crazy to me that Leclerc only has 3 blown saves at this point. He has an inning and a third of, I would say, pretty just not great pitching in general. I know that's not very eloquent, but 2 hits, 2 runs, did strike out 2. Leclerc sporting a 4.68 ERA on the year. Leclerc, that was an interesting move to me. I know Bruce Bochy is trying to give some guys some time off and some rest, but Leclerc coming in for Heaney in that moment, it just did not feel great to me. I know Heaney was in the mid-80s, clearly could have probably finished out that inning. I did think it was a little bit of a quick hook on Andrew Heaney, and they've done this a few times with Heaney. This isn't something new. They have yanked Andrew Heaney in the 5th inning or the 6th inning of games. I want to say they did it to him the last time he played New York. So Andrew Heaney gets hits Juan Soto, right? Juan Soto hit by pitch to lead off the top of the 6th. Aaron Judge coming up. And, at that point, Aaron Judge, I'm not completely remembering what Aaron Judge had done. I think he struck out in the top of the 4th, if I'm not mistaken. So Aaron Judge had just struck out against Andrew Heaney. Personally, I felt like Andrew Heaney could have continued on in that 5th inning, only at 75, 85 pitches, something like that. I did not understand the Leclerc move. I know that you've got to have somebody that can bridge the gap to the guys, Robertson, Yates, the horses at the back end of the bullpen. But that was a curious move. And then bringing in as Aaron, some of y'all know Aaron from Texas Rangers Fans Only, as Aaron affectionately calls Grant Anderson, Can't Anderson, promptly gives up a couple of base hits himself coming into the game. He had 3 base hits allowed today, no walks, but Grant Anderson is just not a major league pitcher. He's not. And I definitely do not want to lobby for guys losing their jobs. Look, this is real life stuff. I don't root against anybody, but I don't know how Grant Anderson can continue getting major league innings. At this point, I think we've seen enough. I don't know if Grant is going to continue to be up with the club all through September, but I really don't know how in good faith and conscience you can continue to give him innings, especially in a somewhat close ball game. I just don't understand it. I would have gone Garabito before I went Grant Anderson. Good to see Garabito getting the call up. He went 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, but I would have much rather seen Garabito go ahead and come into the game before Grant Anderson did. I don't know if it's like the funky delivery they like out of Anderson. I just keep trying to figure out, what do they like so much about Grant that they're not allowing the numbers, right? His numbers to really sink in. I know that baseball, and I know that especially with a manager like Bruce Bochy, it's not all about analytics, stats. It's about the feel, the eye test. And I get that. I think you need that as a manager. I don't know, though, eye test or stats, what you're seeing in Grant Anderson to continue to give him these, what I would call clutch opportunities in games. Look, when Grant Anderson comes into the game, it was not a foregone conclusion that the Rangers were going to lose, right? When he comes into the game, it was still a 2-1, whatever it was, within 3 runs. Like, that is just not impossible at that point. I am not throwing Grant Anderson unless we are up 5+ or down 5+. I don't disagree. Anybody? Are you throwing Grant Anderson down, less than 5 or up less than 5? I'm not. I need a 5-run lead in either direction to feel comfortable putting him in and expecting it to go well. Good to see Garabito tonight, though. I'm glad that he got an opportunity. 2.55 ERA. I mean, look, besides Kirby Yates, Garabito has the best ERA in the bullpen. I don't know if he qualifies with the innings, but he has a better ERA, Garabito does, than David Robertson. I know it's a smaller sample size. I'm not saying Garabito is on that level, so nobody twist my words here. I'm not saying that. I am saying I don't know why they're giving Grant Anderson opportunities in these big moments over a guy like Garabito that at least can get it done on the field. Maybe the stuff, the swing and miss ability, whatever you want to call it, maybe that is not on point in comparison to Grant Anderson. I don't know. But look, I'll take a guy that just grinds out outs over a guy that has swing and miss stuff but's getting lit up left and right. So I would really, really like to see Garabito in September get some more opportunities. Let's see if it's a fluke. Let's see if he's not able to continue to sustain this over a long period of time. Let's see if he can actually be consistent with this. I think that they would be wise to give him more opportunities, both when they need an innings eater, but also in clutch moments in games when you're needing a guy to bridge to the 8th and 9th inning, Robertson and Yates. So good to see Garabito tonight. John, I know you echoed that as well. Appreciate all the comments tonight, bud. Thank you so much. You and I are on the same page with Garabito, no doubt. Guy has a 2.55 ERA. Why isn't he getting more opportunities? He gets lit up for a few games. Okay, now you know. Maybe there was some kind of fluke to all this. But at this point, I think Garabito needs to be in the mix, no doubt. Get that guy in the mix, please. All right, let's go back to the box score. Marcus Semien, good to see him on base a couple of times tonight. Semien had really been struggling. Big walk for him in the bottom of the 9th as well. Marcus Semien was hitting under 100 in his last 7 games. Really, really love to see Semien on base a couple times. Look, the average last 7, 0.67, not ideal. Last 15, 177 batting average for Simi, 194 average over his last 30 games. Marcus needs a reset. Marcus needs to flush 2024 down the toilet and just start new in 2025. Make some tweaks, come back in 2025 with a clear mind ready to go, because this has not been his year. And I feel bad. I love Marcus, hard-nosed player, grinds out at bats, grinds out game after game. Easy to take off days in this day and age. Marcus doesn't. They got to force that dude to take off days. I respect Marcus Semien in his heart 1,000,000%. But he needs a reset. 2024 has not been his year, and I'm looking forward to him getting an offseason. I hope he can finish strong. I'm not giving up and saying he's going to be terrible the rest of the way, but I am saying I think Marcus needs a reset, and I would like to see him come back and have a much better 2025. That hustle hurdle by Smith, that effort was incredible. I saw that as well. Was going to bring that up a little later in the show when we got to Josh Smith. Love that heart and hustle. Look, it's hard to get on guys that are going all out 100% of the time, like Marcus, like Josh Smith, like Wyatt Langford. You don't see those guys dogging it like ever. Now, Adolis Garcia, that is a different story. And look, tonight, I know that with the ball, I believe Juan Soto hit, that Juan Soto's getting a double on that. I know y'all might know what I'm talking about. It was earlier on in the game, in the middle innings. Look, Garcia, it does get old watching the jogs to the baseball, the jogs after pop flies. It's frustrating to me. In the middle of such a terrible season, I really don't care if that Juan Soto hit was a sure double or not. Get your butt to the baseball and throw it in quickly. You're having a terrible season up at the plate. Get your butt to the baseball. I better see you hustling every single play when you're having this bad of a season. You know what? If Doley was cranking 30 homers and had 100 RBI right now, I might feel a little bit differently. But you're dogging it out there, jogging. Whether it's a sure double or not, I don't care. And look, this is my opinion and my perspective. I know how I like to see players play the game. If you don't mind the jogging, that's you. I don't like it, especially when you're having a terrible season. Stop jogging for baseballs, run after it, and get the ball in quickly, whether you can throw the guy out or not. Again, if Doley is in the middle of an MVP campaign, I'm probably not being this picky. But when you're in the middle of such a bad year, you go 0 for 3 tonight with 3 strikeouts. You had 1 walk that saved you from the golden sombrero. I mean, dude, you need to be heart and hustle every single play. And so when you juxtapose Josh Smith and then Doley and his effort out there, and really effort over the entire season, there's been a number of things that we can point to, different plays where Doley hasn't hustled all the way. Why didn't he run hard after that pop fly that landed 3 feet in front of him? You know, and of course, Bochy and everybody making excuses for him. I don't love it. I would really like to see Adolis finish the year strong. I'm not loving what I'm seeing right now. And it's a big reason why I really hope genuinely that the Rangers do not put all their eggs in the Adolis rebound basket. I just don't see Adolis bouncing back and having an incredible 2025. And if he does, more power to him. But I'm going out and getting an insurance policy. I do not want to leave it up to Adolis Garcia's rebound for me to bounce back and make the playoffs after a disappointing 2024. Don't want to do it. So I think the Rangers got to go out and get an outfielder. Can't count on Evan Carter. Can't count on Adolis Garcia to have outstanding seasons next year. Wyatt Langford, I think, I said this last night, he's the one that I would bank on having a nice season next year. But even that, look, I don't know. I haven't seen it consistently enough from Wyatt to really feel great about that either. But if there was one outfielder on this team that I had to single out and say, I think he's going to have a good year next year, it would be Wyatt Langford. Other than that, the Rangers got to go out and get some guys in the outfield. And I'm not talking about Robbie Grossman's or Travis Jankowski's. As much as I love El Blondie, we need to go out and get some legitimate outfield help. A guy that can mix in, that can get some close to everyday at bats. I want to see the Rangers go get somebody. It doesn't have to be a massive deal. Just go out and get a guy on a 2-year contract. I know that you drafted some guys. You drafted some of the SEC boys that were playing in the College World Series this year. Look, that's great. I would love to see those guys come up at some point and be contributors. But until they're ready, get a vet that can contribute at the major league level for a couple of seasons and not in the way that Robbie or Travis have done for us so far. I would love to see the Rangers. Priority number one, go get an outfielder next year. Go get a bat, a power bat preferably, a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Also a guy, though, that can hit it around the yard, not strikeout or home run guy. We've got too many of those already. That is priority number one. So back to Josh Smith. Love to see the hustle out of him, especially when you consider he came off the bench, right? He did not get a start in this game. This lineup was probably one of the worst lineups I've seen the Rangers put out all season. I said that the other night, and I didn't think that Bochy was going to be able to top it, but he did. I think this was probably the worst lineup that the Rangers put out all season long. You had Justin Foscue hitting 6th. My goodness. Justin Foscue hitting 6th. Justin Foscue, who's hitting .083 right now, hitting 6th in your lineup. I think this was by far the worst lineup the Rangers have put out all year. It is very surprising to me that they won. I hope and pray that in the rubber match tomorrow, it's everybody at full strength. And look, maybe some of you would argue, yeah, look, the worst lineup was the one that won it. I mean, look, true, but you look up and down the box score, Foscue 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, Ornelas 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. You had as well, it looks like Duran did get a hit tonight, 1 for 3. Look, I would like to see full strength tomorrow with Evo on the bump, getting a series win. I would love to see that. I don't want to see another lineup like this in the rubber match, please. So look, kudos to Josh Smith. He also had a couple other guys coming off the bench. Tavares able to get a steal in the last inning there. Look, that would have been close had had that not been a bad throw. That might have been a closer play with Leote. When they showed the camera angle of the steal, the kind of that steal camera angle they do, I thought Leote was going to be out on that steal attempt late. I don't know how many of y'all thought that too. I thought Leote was gunned. But when I saw the bad throw, I had hope that maybe he was going to be able to sneak in there, and sure enough, he did. But that was not looking good in that Josh Smith at bat where Leote is able to steal second base. I'm glad he made it. But look, that's not easy to do either. It's not easy to come cold off the bench and be asked to be a base stealer. I know that they warm up underneath the field and get in some sprints. It's not easy to be a base stealer late in games like that when you haven't been playing the whole game. But Leote, nice job getting second base. Ultimately came around to score on the Wyatt Langford bomb. We will take it. No doubt. We will take it. And look, in the bottom of the 8th inning, I want to go to the bottom of the 8th as well. Nate Lowe. I got to give some props to Nate Lowe. I know this isn't going to be a super flashy or big moment to a lot of people, but Nate Lowe comes up and at that moment had, I believe, the bases loaded, if I'm not mistaken, bottom of the 8th, and there's one out, and Nate Lowe hits a nice, solid fly ball to the outfield to make it a 4-3 ball game. I thought to myself, that's huge. That is huge. We get a productive out there. We make it a one-run game. That's the kind of stuff that the Rangers have been missing in a lot of ball games this year. So to see them get some productive outs, I love it. Absolutely love it. And I'm glad that Nate Lowe was able to come through and make that a one-run game. Did not feel great about Jonah Heim coming in pinch hitting. He's not been a guy that has done particularly well in a starting role. I think it becomes even more difficult when you're a pinch hitter. I know that they were a little bit limited on options there, but Jonah Heim, second and third. Look, Seager would have been a nice option there, but if you bring in Seager, they're just going to walk him with the base open. So I know some people I saw online were wondering why not Seager there. It's because Seager's going to get walked. Second and third, 2 outs. They're not pitching to Corey Seager in that spot. So the right move was to go to Jonah Heim. And let's be fair to Jonah. He did not get any really good calls in that at bat. Pitch number 1 was way outside, got called a strike. Pitch number 2 was slightly more borderline, but still a ball. So anytime you're going down 0-2 and in at bat on pitches that really weren't hittable to begin with, it's not going to go great for you. So I don't blame Jonah too much, but I will say, going back to something I talked about at the beginning of the show, I really would love to see better body language out of Jonah. Feel like he's letting a lot of frustration show out there. And some guys are more emotional than others. We can't all be robotic, stoic Corey Seager out there, but it's just not great to see the struggles definitely playing themselves out in the box score stat line. But then you're seeing Jonah show a lot of frustration on the field. I feel for the guy. He was an all-star starter last year. It's been a big fall from grace from him, but I definitely would like to see him shake it off a little bit better, not show as much outward negativity and frustration. I know it's hard to control when you're in this big of a slump. And like I said, I know some guys are more exuberant in their emotion showing than others are, but just not a great look for him. You're stinking it up at the plate and you're showing a lot of bad body language while you do it. I really would like to see Jonah reel it in a little bit in that department. Just play the game. It's frustrating. It's a game of failure. You fail 7 times out of 10, and you're considered a success in the game of baseball. I think Jonah definitely is another guy that needs a reset. And maybe 2025 can be a better year for him. Let me keep going. Natalie says there's something really off with Garcia. In the past, he would run through and run balls down. I can't think of what would have changed except maybe health, but an injury should have healed by now. I agree. I kind of stopped using the maybe Adolis is injured excuse. Personally, he might be injured. There might be an injury. Everybody's kind of hurt, I think, at game 139 in some way, shape, or form. Something sore or ailing or tweaked, and you're just playing through it. But some of the dogging that Dolly does out there in the outfield, again, today, the Juan Soto double, you're kind of just casually jogging after it. Look, I think a lot of us know he wasn't going to catch Juan Soto, but some would say, play devil's advocate. You don't know because you didn't try. So I think for me, with Dolly doing as badly as he is up at the plate, I want to see heart and hustle. Right now, we're seeing bad results at the plate and a lack of heart and hustle. So I would like to see Dolly, another guy, reset and flush out 2024. I can only imagine that they're probably going to bring Dolly back for 2025. I know there was some talk. Maybe you try and find a trade partner for Adolis, see what you can get for him. I don't know. I just don't know how you can feel great trotting him back out to be a 162 game guy in 2025 unless you identify something crazy in the offseason that is just going to unlock everything for him. I don't know how you feel great. Yep, Dolly's going to be our starting right fielder, 162 games, rain or shine. With what you got from him this season, I don't know how they can go into the offseason feeling that way. I don't think they have a lot of options right now. So continuing to hit him fourth isn't as big of a deal because you really don't have anybody else that you can put in the 4 hole and really count on to be reliable. Maybe Wyatt Langford. I know they tried that out earlier in the year. I would be fine if they move Wyatt back to cleanup. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference at this point. So I really don't know what's going on in the minds of CY and the front office. But for this year, I can only hope that the only reason they haven't moved him down a little bit more in the lineup. And I know they tried it for a little bit, and then they kind of went back to getting the old band back together, as Bochy put it, moving Dolly back to the 4 spot. I don't know how you can think that he's going to be your 4-hole hitter next year after the season that you just got from him. Look, there is some conversation. Plex, man, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for the comment as well. There is conversation like this, and I think that it is valid to ask, is Dolly's prime behind him? Now, look, he's not an old 30-year-old. He is early 30s. I think he's, 31? Is that what Dolly is? 31 years old? 31 years old is, I consider, still the prime of your baseball career. I think right in between like 26, 27 and 32, 33. I feel like that's prime right there. You get into 34, 35, 6, 7, and you start getting a little bit over the hill baseball-wise. But I think Dolly is still in his prime, or should still be in his prime. But I do think it is fair to ask, was 2023 the best it was ever going to get with the Dollys? I do think the answer to that is yes. I do think that the best it's going to get with the Dollys is what we got in 23. I don't think he will ever top that season. And in that light, I do think that it's hard because you're always wanting to judge him off the juggernaut that he was in the 2023 postseason. And you're just not going to get that consistently over a long period of time. Some guys like Mike Trout and Ohtani and all of the superstars in this league, yeah, you're going to get that kind of sustained, prolonged success. But there are a lot of guys in the league that are a flash in the pan. They have 2 or 3 really good years, and that's it. And that's okay. That's not to say that they suck or they're awful or they're bad or they don't have a good career to their namesake. But it's hard to be a 3,100 guy, 30 homers, 100 RBI season after season. It's hard to do that. This is a hard game. That being said, you got to make adjustments quickly, and the Rangers cannot dig their heels in on Adolis Garcia. You've got to have a contingency plan. Whether that is going out in free agency and acquiring an outfielder that can swing, that has a little pop, or whether you've got something in mind with the trade in the offseason, something's got to give. I don't think Adolis has shown you anything this year to make you think that he is going to have a consistently good 2025. Let me keep going here. John says, I think people watched the tape on Garcia from last year, figured out how to pitch to him. You brought this up before, kind of like Juan Gonzalez. Look, Dolly loves the high fastball. So if you elevate, he did it tonight. He actually ended up taking a walk late, which I love to see from him. When Dolly is taking walks, that is when you have peak Adolis Garcia. When he is balanced, not swinging out of his shoes, he's balanced, and he's taking pitches that are not strikes. That is prime peak Adolis. When you've got Adolis swinging out of the shoes, looking off balance, kind of falling over in the plate. Josh Jung was kind of doing a little bit of that too. You'd see Josh Jung take a swing and kind of fall over home plate. That's not being balanced up at the plate. And it's why Josh Jung, I think, struggled out of the chute after the injury. And when Adolis struggles, you see a lot of that from him. A lot of falling over, falling back, going down to your knee, Beltre style. Adolis is not Adrian Beltre. Beltre can get away with that. I don't think Adolis can yet. He hasn't shown me enough. But I do think Adolis, the book is keep elevating the fastball and throw him then down and away to mix it and juxtapose it against the high fastball. So you change the eye levels with Dolly. You go high fastball, and then you severely change the eye level and go low slider, curveball, low and away, and you get him chasing. It's hard. I mean, look, I'm not sitting up here saying everybody should be able to make adjustments. You have to make split-second decisions up there facing major league pitching. But I really think Adolis has got to do some major adjusting in the offseason, have to improve the plate vision and discipline, have to stay balanced with your swing, can't be falling over, falling down, swinging out of your shoes, balanced, controlled, vision. Those are the things that I want from Doley in 2025. I'm sure he's going to get a shot. By no means am I sitting here saying they're going to bench him or they're going to start somebody else. I fully believe he is most likely, in fact, I'd be willing to bet, is going to be the right fielder on opening day in 2025. Unless they trade him, which I haven't heard is super likely, that is what I think is going to happen with him. But I think they need to have a backup plan. Have somebody in there that you can consistently rely on, a DH type that you can play when Doley is mired in a 150 over his last 30 games kind of slump. And yes, Adolis has been in one of those this year, unfortunately. Let me keep going here. I think we got to put a bow on this one, y'all. We talked Wyatt Langford, walk-off grand slam. We talked Andrew Heaney, stellar start. Dude's going to get paid by somebody in the offseason. We talked about a few other guys as well. Talked about some of the interesting bullpen moves in this game. We talked about Corey Seager sitting out, load management. So we also talked about the fact that this was one of the worst lineups that the Rangers have put out this entire season, and they just so happened to get one of their most epic victories because baseball. And that's how baseball goes sometimes. So now let's talk about tomorrow. And if y'all have any comments or questions from the game today, feel free to drop them in, and I will continue to get to them. But at this point, let's look at tomorrow. And TikTok, let me check out real quick while I'm navigating to the preview of tomorrow's game. Somebody says on TikTok, I'm a Brewers fan. What are my thoughts on Chourio? I love guys like Chourio. Jackson Chourio, top prospect for the Brewers. I think the power speed combo, totally legit. You're talking like Bobby Witt style. That's kind of who Chourio reminds me of. Not that he's on Bobby Witt's level right now, but I love those types of players. So basically Mike Trout. But Mike Trout was always kind of that linebacker, stocky build. You know, guys like Chourio, guys like Bobby Witt, probably not quite the same body type as Trout. But Trout was always a guy that hit for power and had speed on the base pass and out in the outfield. I love that combination. It's a big reason why I love Wyatt Langford, why it's got the pop, why it's got the wheels. That is fun to watch. Guys that are that fast and have that much power, it's a blast. So look, Jackson Chourio, not sure what the numbers are. I think I've told y'all this. It's hard for me to keep track of everybody's numbers when I'm trying to lock in on all the Rangers as well. But Chourio this year, 280, 20 bombs, 70 RBI. Look, you got to feel really good about the season Jackson Chourio's having. I think he's going to be a problem in this league for a number of years. I love guys with his type of skill set. I wish the Rangers had a guy like Jackson Chourio to combo with Wyatt Langford. That would be deadly. We've kind of got our own version of Chourio. I think Chourio is obviously ahead of where Wyatt is at right now, but love Jackson Chourio. Think he's going to have a great future in the league. Now, let's go to the matchup for tomorrow, and then we are going to call it a night. So tomorrow's game, rubber match. And we got a little day game tomorrow, or are we going nighttime again? Looks like another nighttime game. I guess that kind of makes sense. It's Yankees. You're facing one of the top teams. So 7:05 start tomorrow. And we have Evo throwing, Stroman on the other side. Marcus Stroman did pitch against the Rangers last time. If we go to his game log, Marcus Stroman last time out against the Rangers, here's what the numbers looked like. He went a total of 5 innings, gave up 1 earned run, 4 hits, 3 walks. So there was some action on the base pass, but he was pulled after about 90 pitches after those 5 innings. Did get the win. That was on August 11th. In his last 7 games, he has a 4.72 ERA. He's coming off a 7-inning outing in St. Louis, actually in the Bronx against St. Louis. 7 innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs. So a really nice start. Stroman is pitching pretty well of late, so this could be a pitcher's duel. Let's go ahead, though, and let's check out how each opposing lineup has done against each probable starter. So it goes a little something like this. Let's start with Nate Eovaldi, and let's go through his numbers. Of course, Nate Eovaldi, a former Yankee. I kind of love that former team matchup. You always want to throw well against the former team, regardless of how it ended. You always want to give your best against the team you used to play for. And so Evo against this Yankees lineup, Cabrera 0 for 2. Let's go to the notables. So let's go to Judge first. Judge actually hits Evo really, really well. 400 average in 30 at-bats, 2 bombs. LeMahieu in 50 at-bats, 320 average. Rizzo, 22 at-bats against Evo, 364. Juan Soto, 2 for 3 in his career. Giancarlo, 273 average and 33 career at-bats, 4 bombs off Evo. You've got Volpe, 0 for 8. Finally, we get like kind of a bad batting average against Evo. Austin Wells looks like is 1 for 2. So Stanton, Rizzo, LeMahieu, Judge, the only players in the lineup to take Evo deep. Could be an interesting day for Nate Eovaldi. I'm not sure how Evo has done against the Yankees in like his past 3 starts or so. Let me see if I can get those stats up here for you. Maybe get on StatMuse real quick and see if I can figure this out. Evo and just kind of how he's done the last several times against the Yankees in his career. Don't know if I'm going to be able to find it on the fly. Looks like the last times, I want to say he had a lot against the Yankees when he was with Boston, obviously. So last time out, here are the Texas numbers. Last time out, he went 3 innings and looks like he gave up 3 runs in 3 innings. Before that, 5 2/3, and looks like he gave up 2 earned runs. He does have a complete game shutout against the Yankees. So that was just last year, April 29th. He went 9 innings, only gave up 3 hits, and looks like struck out a total of 8. So he does have a complete game shutout just last year against the Yankees. Man, would it be nice to see something like that tomorrow in the rubber match, no doubt. I would love to see that from Evo. Let's win our 3rd series in a row. And then we welcome the Angels to Globe Life Field for a 4-game set. Man, you hope you can beat up on those guys. Look, just make it interesting late. The walk-offs, they're awesome. These great moments at home in front of the home fans that have stuck through thick and thin with this Rangers club that has had more bad moments than good ones this year. Come on, let's give the fans something to cheer about, Rangers. Love what I saw tonight. Great win. I'm so pumped for Wyatt Langford. Dude is on a roll over the past month with the walk-offs. Gotta love it. And want to just say to all of you guys, appreciate all of y'all hanging tough. This has not been an easy year to go live after every single game. It's not been an easy year to bet the Rangers every single game like I've been doing in my challenge, betting 1 cent for every follower on a Texas Rangers win day after day. It's not easy to be doing any of that, but we're here. We're here. We're sticking through till the bitter end, till game 162, and we will continue to support through all of the ups and downs, rain or shine. And I appreciate all you guys. If you are watching and you're not subscribed to the channel, you're not following the account, would greatly appreciate if you did so. Hit that notification button. Stay up to date with all of our latest and greatest content. Get notified every time we go live. We are also going live after Longhorns games. Now the football season has started back up. And after Cowboys games, NFL kicking off this week on Thursday. It's going to be a blast. I know not everybody that's a Rangers fan is a fan of those teams, but hey, if you come out and you want to talk Rangers, I won't be shy. So, hey, the other thing, if you know somebody that is a big Rangers fan or Longhorns fan or Cowboys fan, tell them about the channel. Once football gets going and baseball cools off, I pretty much go into full football mode. So I hope you'll come back. We also do some Dallas Mavericks coverage too. So those are the core 4: Longhorns, Mavericks, Rangers, Cowboys. So if you know anybody that's a fan of any of those teams, I would be so grateful if you would share my videos with them, tell them about the channel. That would mean a lot to me. Let's keep growing this really solid group of people we got talking Rangers baseball, talking baseball and sports in general. I love it. So with that, I am going to sign off. I think I've got all the comments taken care of. If I missed you, I'm sorry. The Stars, by the way, look, Stars are my childhood team, but I think y'all know I live in Las Vegas. A lot of you do. And I'm a big Golden Knights fan, which I know is very polarizing for some Stars fans with the Knights' performance in the last several playoffs, especially 2023 when the Golden Knights won it all. Stars got a little bit of revenge this last year. I definitely don't mind talking Stars. I keep up with the Stars. I don't put as big of an emphasis on them during hockey season. Don't talk a ton of hockey. But anytime you want to bring up Stars, I'll know what's going on. I'll know the players who you're talking about. I definitely follow them and keep my tabs on them. Definitely more of a Golden Knights fan, but I'm a Stars fan too. They were my childhood team, and I will cheer for them anytime they're not playing the Golden Knights. So that's the hockey side of things. I hope that y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday evening, Wednesday tomorrow. Hope to see you back here after hopefully another Texas Rangers victory and series win. If I don't catch you tomorrow night, watch one of our videos on the replay on either Facebook or on YouTube. We put all of our lives up there immediately after the show. We're also on Apple and Spotify podcast style. That works better for you. There you go. There's plenty of options here, y'all. We're all about the options. But hey, have a great rest of the week if I don't see you. And as I always say to end every show, God bless